At some point during the development of early Resident Evil titles, the team wanted to move away from the fantasy element and make a horror game with something more real. This desire gave birth to Dino Crisis 1 in 1999. Commonly referred as Resident Evil with dinosaurs, Dino Crisis' philosophy was to produce a panic horror effect on players as opposed to survival horror. It was met with success upon release, and while I absolutely adore the first Dino Crisis game, it was its sequel that, since my young days, has been one of my favorite games ever in a way that I almost can't describe how much I like this game. This is Dino Crisis 2. While Regina returns as one of the playable characters, you will also be taking the role of Dylan Morton, a US Army operator and a key character on uncovering the mysteries as to why a dinosaur breakout has occurred in the Midwest. I always found it to be interesting how there is a big contrast between the two games. Dino Crisis 2 is a lot more leaning towards action. Right from the beginning, you already have a shotgun with 100 bullets and no need to reload, and the combo system sure gives you a feeling that you are playing an arcade game. When you move between rooms, a result screen with your performance is displayed, and points are given depending on how well you performed. Those are needed for buying new weapons, ammunition, and tools. Some weapons are required to progress on the story, such as the poisonous gas area, where you need either the flamethrower or the firewall to get rid of poisonous spores, the aqua grenade in the underwater section to destroy the piece of block sustaining the balcony, and the chain mine to blow up a rock blocking your way. Puzzles are also a thing here as well, although not as sophisticated as traditional Resident Evil games. I do wonder, however, who the f had the idea for the small dino puzzle in the research facility? For a long time as a kid, I could not figure out how to get the card back. It makes no sense that you have to herd the small dino towards the cage where he finally drops out the card and you can progress. This whole thing sucks. Other puzzles won't be much of a problem. In general, Dino Crisis 2 is about clearing the dinosaurs in a room and proceeding to the next. You are trapped in a jungle facility and who knows what might be coming to get you, but you are well geared up right from the beginning to face them this time. The camera is what's going to be your main burden. This is a PlayStation 1 Capcom game with tank controls after all. Dinosaurs will be constantly showing up outside of your view. Your only cue is the noise they make whenever they jump in and their screams. And because of their increased mobility, you only have so much time before they get to you. But because we are talking about old video game design, you will quickly notice that only a few dinos will spawn every time the camera angle changes, so you can anticipate their arrivals and be ready to aim on time. Most enemies that appear in the game are the usual velociraptors, but you will also encounter other dinos such as the flying assholes. I hate these ones. It's so hard to aim at them and they keep doing flybys on you. I just run away from them, really. There's the mutant chicken dinos as well. They first show up on the research facility and then at later points in the game. The long neck water dinos, they first show up on the ship minigame when you are moving between locations and when you arrive at the third energy facility. And if you bought the heavy assault rifle, you can take them down with just one shot. It's a really good way to farm money. There's the underwater croc dinos. They first show up in the not so fun underwater section of this game. Good thing you don't spend too much time in there anyway. And finally, the croc dinos as well, that appear in the cave and in the missile silo wreckage. And we have a few bosses as well. The T-Rex, which shows up in two unexpected points and he can't be killed. You just have to outrun him or slow him down in the tank section. He eventually gets killed by a dinosaur that's bigger than him, and it's also the final boss of the game. There's also one that's bigger than Velociraptors but smaller than the T-Rex, kinda like a angry teenager dino. And these will annoy you a little bit whenever they show up, but they can be killed. There's the underwater boss as well, which is a even bigger long neck water dino that can be killed, but the area where you fight him is so badly designed that you either are gonna get lucky and get a counter hit on him or just suffer while trying. The truth is, Dino Crisis 2 feels like a game developed in a rush. For a 2-hour game, in the first hour, it feels like you are in a backtracking simulator. I think backtracking is fine, however, if it leads to new things on the way, which this game kinda does, with a few new small areas. The second half is where it starts to pick up. Important story elements starts to happen, and you are visiting new locations almost entirely back to back.
What if those helmet people are from a completely different time than ours?
What?
Although, I wish some of them would have been a bit more explored, like the city where you face the T-Rex with the tank, and the poisonous area that gets you access to the missile silo. Until you finally reach the main facility where the whole Noah's Ark plan is revealed, and there's the twist about Dylan's identity as well.
I am former Special Forces TRAD member, Colonel Dylan Morton.
What? You're myself in the future?
While the final boss comes down to you running around a platform and pushing buttons to prepare the satellite shot when there doesn't seem to be enough space for you to better protect yourself, the ending leaves the question unanswered as if Regina managed to save Dylan. We got that answer in Dino Stalker on the PS2, which sort of continues the history of Dino Crisis 2, and it implies that both Dylan and his daughter Paula did survive the wreckage.
I'm in the future, 3 million years ahead of your time.
Even with its flaws, Dino Crisis 2 still remains as one of my favorite games. Why is that? Well, let me tell you, nostalgia is one hell of a drug. It's fascinating when you have a game that you played at such a young age, and as you grow older, your definition of what makes games good or bad changes. And even though you might look at your favorite game with different eyes now, you still have this special attachment to it. I can see a lot of flaws in Dino Crisis 2 today, but it also feels like I can appreciate the game even more as time goes on. As for what happened with the franchise, Dino Crisis 3 turned out to be a commercial failure, and Capcom never touched the franchise again in almost 2 decades now. The announcement of Exoprimal was certainly an odd surprise, a third-person shooter where dinosaurs are the main threat. Even with this incredible coincidence, producer Ichiro Kiyokawa confirmed that there is no relation between the two franchises. A fact that, in my opinion, could be either a good or a bad thing for Dino Crisis, depending on how Exoprimal performs. I will never stop rooting for this franchise to come back someday. All the memories that this particular game has given to me are eternal. Capcom has been on a movement to bring back classic franchises for a while now. Dino Crisis is one of the most requested ones to see a return, especially after Exoprimal, but we have yet to hear anything from those running the show. I have hopes that this will happen someday in some form. These days, it seems like anything is possible. A Dino Crisis resurgence is the one thing that I desire the most when it comes to video games. That's it for the video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Your support would be very much appreciated. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.